Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel The Ethical Cruise. Today in this video, I will talk about AWS basics. So this is like a second video in the cloud computing series, and as you all know, in the previous video I've already talked about cloud computing basics. So if you do not know what cloud computing is and you want to learn in detail, you can check out my previous video. Link of that video is already in the description. You will find it below. Okay. So in this video, I will talk about what AWS is. It's AWS Global Infrastructure, AWS Regions, how to choose AWS region, AWS availability zones, AWS Management Console. So Management Console we'll talk in some little detail, and also AWS Shared Responsibility Model. Okay, so without ado, let's do start. So first of all, what is AWS? So as I already discussed in my previous video of cloud computing, AWS is a cloud provider. Okay, so it provides you all the basic cloud need, all the computing needs which you need to host a website. It provides all the infrastructure related to that. Okay, so AWS is a subsidiary of Amazon because it is being developed by Amazon, so it is a subsidiary of Amazon, and that provides on demand cloud computing platforms. Okay, so whenever you need it as per your requirement, you can demand that particular computation need, and AWS will basically provide you that to either to individual to companies as well as government are also using these AWS facilities. They can also require request for that as pay as you go basis. So whatever you will use, you can just pay for that and can use it. So that is like a pay as you go model which AWS provides. Okay, AWS services can offer tools such as compute power. So it will provide you the CPUs and also that it will be help you in your computation. Also, it will provide you the database storage to store your data, and also it will provide you the CDS, the content delivery services. So all these services are basically being provided by AWS over the cloud. AWS services were first launched in 2002, and today more than 200 AWS services are publicly available. Okay, so AWS services are growing daily, and you can choose any service which you want to use out of these 200 available services. Okay, now next we will look upon what is AWS global infrastructure. So AWS is spread across the globe. In whatever region you are, you can basically request for AWS to provide you all the services and all. So it is spread across 87 availability zones, which is basically in this 27 geographic regions, as you can see in the screen in this diagram. Like these are the regions spread across North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, and news and every part of the geography. So these green one represents a region which are already been present, and total as of now there are 27 geographic regions around the world. Okay, and there is a announcement that there will be some more reasons in some next time. Like these you can see in this red, like this area in red, this. So these are the next planned re- regions for the AWS. Okay, if you want to select any. So first of all, what is the reason? So AWS is a concept of reason, which is basically a physical location around the world, as we can see in the diagram. So like these green one. So these are the physical location around the globe. Okay, where this is actually they have the data centers. Okay, so in each region they have one of the data center. Like here you will see, like in this Mumbai, this is one of the region, and in this region it has a data center where it is maintaining all the data and all the servers. Okay, and every region has its name. Like if you see this diagram here, so like there is one of the region US East North Virginia, so its name is US East one. Similarly, US West Africa, Cape Town. So this is a region name, and that is like how it is depicted. Okay, so it has names like this: US West hyphen 2, US West hyphen 1, so that it is easier for you to select a region to identify which region it is trying to depict. Okay, and since I told you, like AWS has so many services, but all these services are not available to all the regions. Okay, like you can see, like it is spread across all the globe, so not all services are available to all regions. Okay, so whenever you want to use any service of AWS, you will have to select first of the region, which region you want to use, and accordingly then you can use the services available in that particular region. Let's suppose if you're selecting this US East 2 region, okay, so whatever service will be available in that particular region, you will be able to use only that. Okay, there are some services which are global and which are not region dependent. Okay, so we'll discuss about that in the later series of this cloud computing, where we will talk about IAM and all. So these will be the services that are not region dependent and basically global one. Okay. So next, if you see like how to choose AWS region. Okay. So like I said, before selecting any service, you will have to select a region. But on the what basis, on what factors you will basically choose what region you have to select. So that will depend only on these factors. Like first of all, like you have to follow the compliance with the local government. So if you take an example of GDPR, so in the if you are in Europe, so you will have to follow the rules as per the EU laws, and you will have to maintain the local servers there so that all the data will be maintained in the EU itself. Okay, so that is for whatever region you are, you have just to follow the compliance with the local government, and accordingly you have to choose your region so that whatever data you are storing, creating a backup, it will be localized to that region. Okay, so that it will come follow the compliance with whatever government is there. Okay, second one, there's like the proximity to your end users customer. So let's suppose you are in Europe, okay, but you if you select a region of Australia, then it will provide you a high latency because data will transfer from Australia to Europe. So always try to choose a region which is close enough to the customer so that customer will face less latency. Okay, and third factor will be service availability within a region. As I said, like all the services are not present in all the regions. So if you want to use any specific service, and if it is present only in a specific region, then you have to choose that specific region because you want to use that service. Okay, so this selecting region also depend on the factor that what service you want to use. And also the major important factor is the pricing, because pricing varies from region to region. So if you think like this is a bigger factor, then also you could consider this while selecting a region. Okay, so these are the factors which you have to keep in mind while choosing the AWS regions. Okay, now come the next, the AWS availability zones. Okay, so AWS availability zones, like one, they are the discrete data centers with redundant power, networking, and connectivity in a AWS region. As I showed you in the world map, like there were 27 AWS regions. Within a region, there are multiple AWS availability zones. Okay, so availability zones are basically like a backup. They do not need to be within a kilometer or within miles distance. They can be they can be hundreds of kilometers away. Okay, so they can be like, but they need to be connected so that they can set as a backup. Okay, and each AWS region consists of multiple isolated and physically separated availability zones within a geographic area, so that if any one of the availability zone faces any issue, any natural disaster or anything, then the different it availability zone will come as a backup. Okay, so it will serve as a backup because all the data are maintained in all those servers, so that if any one of that goes down, then other two can act as a backup. Okay, so these are basically separated out just to avoid this disaster. Okay, and these are interconnected. Since they all are interconnected, that's why this serve as a reason. Okay, next we'll talk about the very important thing, that AWS Management Console. Okay, AWS Management Console is like a web application that compromises and refers to broad collection of services console for managing AWS resources. Since AWS contains more than 200 services, so to access any service, what you will do, you will log into your AWS account, and after logging in, this will be your first screen where you will be logging in. Okay, this will be like your console homepage. From this, you can select any of the services. Okay, and this homepage provide access to each service console, and this is like a single place to access the information you need to perform any AWS related task. Okay, so let's see first of all how AWS Management Console looks like and how to select region and all directly in the AWS. Okay, so first come here in the Google, I'll search for this AWS Management Console. Like this will be your first link which you will see like https aws amazon.com console. First I'll click on this. Once you click on this, you will see like this is the screen which is coming. This is the AWS Management Console. Okay, you can just sign in here. Once you will try to sign in, there are two options, whether you can sign in as an IAM user or you can sign in using a root user. Okay, we will talk about this detail in the later part of this cloud computing series, where in the next few videos I will talk about what IAM is and all this detail. Okay, so just for now, I'm just logging into it. So once you logged into this AWS Management Console, this will be your home page. Okay, there are different sections. These are different widgets. Like this one is recently visited. Here you can see all the services which are present. If you want to click, you can click on view all services, and it will list all the services which are present in the AWS. Okay, before that, focus first of all the region which we are selecting. Okay, so I have selected this North Virginia region, that is US East one, and you can see like there is a list of all the regions which are present here. So once you will click on this, you can select any of the regions. Let's suppose if I'll select Asia Pacific Tokyo, so I can select any of the region. Okay, so this is the region which is selected. Now you can see there are some recently visited services which are present here. Also there are some different cards which are present, like to explore AWS, some latest announcements, some blog posts, so on. So there are these different widgets. You can basically customize it. Okay. Now let's talk about these buttons which are present on the top. The first one is your home button. If you will click on it, you will basically land to this home page. So if you are on any service, any other page, and if you will click on this, then you will basically go back to this particular home page. Okay. If you will click on the services, here you will see some categories of all the services which are present. If you will select any of the category, let's suppose if you select containers, okay, it will list you all the services present inside the container category. If you will select analytics, it will provide you all the services present inside the analytics. If you will select internet of things, it will provide you all the services present inside internet of things. So accordingly, these are categorized into category wise. Also, you will see on the top, like if you click on this recently visited, you can see all the services which you recently visited from this account, so that you will get a list of the recently visited one. Also, if you want, you to use any of the services frequently, you can mark it as a favorite, and then it will come into this favorite section. Currently I do not have marked any one of this favorite, that's why this list is empty. And if you will click on this all services, it will basically list all the services which is present as a part of AWS. Okay, also what you can do, you can search for any services from here. Okay, let's suppose I select this one of the services, IAM. We will talk about this IAM service in the later series. Okay, so once I search for the services, you can see like under the service section, I can see IAM and all. If you want to select, you can select either from this IAM, and if you want to select any feature present in IAM, then you can select this top features. Okay, so let's select this services as IAM first from here. So once you will select this, like this is your service page which will come to you. Okay, so since you can now you can see you have landed into this IAM page. Okay, if you want to go back to that home page, what you will do, you will just have to click on this AWS icon, and now again you land back to the home page. Okay, so here you can search accordingly, and your services, you can search for any services you want to use. Also coming to next, this is like your AWS cloud shell. We will talk about it later. So this one is your notification. If any notification related to your open issues, schedule changes, event log, any will be there, then it will be notified here. This will be your like a support center. If you want any type of help, any documentation, training and all, then you can just go from here. This is your region, and this is your account and account details. Okay, so this is your home management console page looks like. Okay, we will talk about these different services in the later videos. Okay, when we will be working on this. Now the last part of this is AWS shared responsibility model. Okay, so if you remember in my last video of cloud computing, I was talking about different type of cloud computing, like IaaS, infrastructure as a service provider, PaaS, platform as a service provider, and software as a service provider. So here I'm talking about the shared responsibility model of AWS, where it is acting as infrastructure as a service. So when you're using AWS as IaaS, basically you as well as AWS are sharing the resources, sharing the responsibility of the end application which you are developing. Okay, so here in this case, security is a shared responsibility between AWS as well as the customer, means the you who are developing that application. Okay, so different part of shared responsibility models are, there are two different types. Like the first one is AWS responsibility, which is security of the cloud. So what AWS is providing you is the cloud, the infrastructure. Okay, so AWS responsible is for protecting the infrastructure which it is providing. Okay, and to that runs all the services basically in which is offered as part of this cloud. Okay, but being a customer, you have the responsibility of maintaining the security in the cloud. You are the one who is using that infrastructure. You are one who is basically building an application on top of that. So it is your responsibility to basically maintain security in the cloud, and your responsibility will be determined by the cloud services which you are using. So you don't have to take care of all the services whether you are using or not. You do have to take care of only those services which you will be using. Okay, and according to the service which you will be using, that will determine the amount of configuration work that you will have to perform as part of your responsibility. Okay, so this shared model basically can help you relieve the operational burden, because AWS operate, manage, and control component from operating system layer to infrastructure layer down to physical security of the facilities, like the data centers which you talk about, like the maintenance and all. So maintenance as well as the security of those data centers, those servers and all. So everything is taken care of by AWS. So that basically shares your burden. So this is a AWS shared responsibility model, which everyone has to keep in mind while working with the AWS, because this is like a very much useful. That is all in today's video. In the next few videos, we will learn about IAM concepts of AWS in little bit detail. So please do like the video, share this video with your friends and colleagues, and also do not forget to subscribe to my channel Ethical Cruise. Also, you can visit my blogging website ethicalcruise.com, where you can read about the security basics, footprinting, reconnaissance, and also the cloud computing things. Okay, like this is my blogging website ethicalcruise.com. Here this is like a blog I have written about AWS service. So here you can read about different thing in detail here. Any information which you will be needing, you can find it here. You can like, and you can if you have any questions, you can comment here as well, and I will reach out to you to solve those out. So yeah, that's all in today's video. I will see you all in the next video to continue with this AWS series.